What's up everyone, this is Sumatchi to give you my initial review on the new VR shooter Breachers. This game just released and many people are interested to know whether or not it's worth the price tag. Fortunately, I'm here to offer my expertise on whether or not you should buy it. Please note that I am more competitively focused than some people since my team and I compete in the top ranks of multiple VR titles, so please keep that in mind when watching this review and make sure to check out other people's reviews if you aren't interested in competition. I do make tutorials for a few other VR games and try to have an idea of what the casual gamer likes, but just be aware of what point of view my review is from. Enough about me, let's talk about Breachers. Breachers is a tactical 5 vs 5 game where one team tries to assault a building and defuse bombs, while the other team tries to fortify the building and defend. If you are familiar with flat screen games or have heard other reviews, you've probably heard other people refer to this game as the Rainbow Six Siege of VR, and I'd say that's fairly accurate. This game is a little bit more of a mixture of Rainbow Six and Counter-Strike because it has an economy system, which forces you to be mindful of what you get each round and be conscious of budget planning for future rounds. This game values tactics and planning above all else, and both teams have access to an array of gadgets to help them win. Some of the gadgets you'll get on the defensive side are things like tripwires to damage enemies and slow attackers down, proximity sensors to alert you where enemies might be coming from, and door blockers to try to funnel attackers into specific lanes.
Couple here in 4 ping. Nice.
Offensive gadgets consist of things like flashbangs so you can blind enemies to go in and clear a room, breaching foam to create new entrances on walls or even in floors or ceilings, and drones to be able to scout for enemies and traps. Hey, Cracker, shoot right here. Down, through the floor right here.
What?
Hold on.
Get your stupid drone out of the back.
The attacking team also gets a cloaking device, which is similar to the cloaking from Halo. The attacking team also gets access to rappelling. You're able to grapple to the top of the roof and then start to climb the side of the building. If you reach a breakable window while rappelling on the side of a building, you can click your crouch button to jump backwards and actually breach in with your feet.
It's better than onwards leaning. That was actually really cool.
That worked actually really well. This feels really cool in VR, and I think they did a really good job here. Breachers has some mechanics that aren't common in other VR titles, such as leaning. Players have the ability when not moving to lean their body to either side to allow the ability to peek into rooms or around corners without revealing their lower half. I've not seen this previously done before in a VR game, and I've got to say it works really well here. Being able to lean as well as to crouch can allow you to get the exact position you need to be able to hold an angle. The buy menu that you can access at the start of the round to get guns and gadgets feels very good to use in VR. I hope a lot of other titles will see this, realize how good it is to use, and move more towards this direction in the future. Even buying attachments for your gun feels really nice. With just holding your gun in one hand, you're able to tap and pick which attachment you want. If you buy the wrong item or the wrong attachment, you can just tap it again to sell it right back. The buy system feels really refined and solid. For grabbing items, Breachers uses a small force grab style to grabbing items off the floor, so you don't constantly have to bend over to grab anything that's right at floor level. A couple other games will only let you pick up items if you're directly on top of them with your hand, but in Breachers there's a small sphere that appears on the item if it's in range to grab. The range is fairly small, but I think it works well for this type of game. It's enough to be convenient without breaking immersion. There's a ton of customizable options in this game: snap, smooth turn, or you can even disable the stick turn, switching which joystick lets you move, auto sprint to try to save your joystick a little bit, and you can change the gun and weapon angle as well as do virtual stock as well. If you want to manually set your keybinds, you can change your keybinds within the settings of the game itself. The amount of customization present in this game is exactly what we want out of a VR FPS game. The virtual stock and weapon angle settings should honestly be a standard across all VR titles. If blood makes you a little bit queasy, there's even an option to disable blood in the menu. For the crouching in this game, you can either crouch in your play space, or you can press your crouch button to do a virtual crouch in-game. If you're a player that likes to do some practice or training before you hop into the game, you'll be happy to know that Breachers gives a couple of options. When you boot up the game, it'll have you do the tutorial the first time you play, and after you finish the tutorial, the game has a firing range that you can do in the main lobby as well. If you want to practice by yourself, you can also create a private lobby that will fill with bots. This can help you get a feel for the game as well as learn the maps. Map knowledge is crucial in games like this. There's also a team deathmatch mode as well if you want to practice your gun skill against other players. As well as having access to the firing range in the main lobby, there's also a whiteboard that shows the devs' roadmap for the game. The first update that will be coming to this game is a ranked mode. I don't know any of the details of how this will be set up just yet, but I'm really interested to see any VR game with actually a built-in ranked mode. Population 1 had one, but it only lasted a couple of months due to reception and due to player base, so it will be interesting to see how Breachers handles ranked. In terms of bugs, I haven't run into any so far. Maybe I've just been lucky so far, so let me know in the comments if you've played the game and experienced anything yourself. Overall, it has been a pretty smooth experience for me. The main gripe you'll hear with the game so far is going to be the price tag. At $30, it's quite high for a VR game. I feel like personally it's quite a refined experience compared to a lot of other VR games that I've played, and I really enjoy it, but it may be a harder ask for people without the extra money to spend. But let's get to the main question of this video: should you buy Breachers? If you are a competitive VR gamer who wants the next game to play, Breachers is looking to be a really good one to pick up. It has good mechanics, a high skill ceiling, and overall feels very fair. There are already tournaments in the works for this game, with the first being at the end of April, as well as a league starting at the beginning of June. The upcoming ranked mode should also provide a good grind to keep people coming back for their competitive fix. If you are more of a casual VR gamer who's looking for a more tactical style game, then it is definitely a good pickup and a great time with friends. And with the ability to create private lobbies, you can either make it a PvP experience or a PvE experience where you're just fighting bots. Since the game also spans across both Oculus and PC VR, you will have a pretty easy time finding lobbies, and the large amount of servers online means you will not just be running into hardcore competitive players 24/7. Now, if you're the type of player that likes to rush in and have constant high adrenaline, high octane gameplay, then Breachers might not be the right game for you, since if you die at the start of the round, you're stuck waiting the next few minutes for the round to end. At a 3-minute round timer, sitting around for 2 minutes if you die at the start can get pretty boring, so be aware of what kind of player you are and how you play. I've personally been having a great time with Breachers, and even though there isn't a grind or ranked in the game just yet, it's one of the only VR multiplayer games that has gotten me to continuously go back and play it just because of how fun it is to play for me. Anytime a new style VR game comes out, one of the benefits of it is that nobody really knows what the meta is or what's strong. The fact that Breachers is a pretty new game means that no one's going to be ridiculously above everybody else in terms of the tactics of the strategy. I think that's a really strong selling point for a lot of VR games, because it's hard to get into new FPS VR games if when you join you're just getting destroyed by competitive ranked players. Overall, I do recommend picking up Breachers if you have a little bit of extra money to spend, or you really like the tactical style games. I personally did not like Rainbow Six Siege at all on flat screen. I liked Counter-Strike, I liked Call of Duty, I played Apex, but I could never get into Rainbow Six Siege because of how slow the gameplay felt. I think it's actually the medium of VR that has given me the immersion I needed to appreciate this style of gameplay. Because I am in VR and way more immersed with the world, I want to slow down a bit more, and I want to make sure I'm surviving the rounds as long as possible. Overall, I feel like Breachers is a really solid VR game, and I'm excited to see where the ranked and tournaments go in the coming months. If you have any questions I might be able to help out with, make sure to leave a comment down below, and I'll be streaming Breachers from time to time on my Twitch as well, so if you want to see some live gameplay, go check me out on twitch.tv/Sumatchi. I hope this video was helpful, and thank you all for watching. This is Sumatchi, going to standby.